You have something I want. It will be mine.
Welcome to the Mandalorian Season 2 virtual red carpet fan event presented by Verizon. I'm Anthony Carboni from the Star Wars Show, here to bring you all of the sights, sounds, and celebrity encounters we can from a totally safe and socially distanced space on stage at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood for the newest season of The Mandalorian on Disney+. Now, normally I would be coming to you from a red carpet outside of a theater, chatting it up with whichever celebrity comes my way, but this year's different. Now the stars are coming to me on a giant LED wall. This is the way. You know, but something is missing, much like the Mandalorian and the child. Wherever she goes, I go. Joining us all the way from the Bay Area, my co-host, Andy Gutierrez. It would have been weird to do this without you.
Planet 2.
Planet 2.
I can't believe it's been nearly a year since The Mandalorian first premiered.
I know, I was actually at the El Capitan for the first season red carpet screening, and I will tell you, being in a room full of people who had no idea what to expect from the show, let alone the reveal of the child, I mean, that was a moment I will never forget.
Yeah, it was incredible. And honestly, one of the best kept secrets in Star Wars, like in recent memory. I can't think of a character reveal that captured the world's attention quite like the child.
Exactly. Star Wars fans fell in love with the characters and the stories from The Mandalorian instantaneously.
And the wait for even more stories, more characters, and more Mando is finally over.
That's right. Season 2 is finally here, and while some of you have already seen the season premiere once or twice or more, we're here to throw the ultimate fan party.
And no one is more excited to get this virtual party started than the Star Wars fans we'd gathered to join us tonight.
Let's go check out this crowd. Oh, hello everybody. Yes. Right away, Bobby and Thor, look at those two kids. Oh, I love this. We've got an Imperial with an Ewok. That doesn't happen often. The child is everywhere. The child is everywhere today, huh? Oh my stars, lots of Mandos, lots of Mercs. Love to see it. Oh, yes, thank you, Aaron. We must make sure that we're properly masked up. We got Jawas! Houdini! What's up?
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And there's so many Mercs out there. Oh yeah! Hard to represent.
Amazing, you all look wonderful. Thank you for being here.
From the moment fans first laid eyes on her at Sorgan's #1 spot for bone broth, fans have been fascinated by the former shock trooper turned mercenary Cara Dune. Now she's back for even more in season 2. Please welcome Gina Carano.
Hi! Hi, Andy. Hello, everyone out there. Hello.
Hi, Gina. It's so good to see you. Cara Dune is such a fan favorite. What has it been like for you to see fans react to your character?
This has just been, this has been such a ride. And I mean, from everybody that did all the art, I mean, there's so many talented people out there. And thank you all for taking the time to, I hope I reached all of you with all like reposting as much as I could, all of your art, all of your support. I mean, I have a little small army of cosplayers, Cara Dune cosplayers out there. And I see you. I want you to know I see you and you inspire me. And I love this character so much. And I'm so glad that that came through. And I'm so glad so many of you have connected with her. And I just couldn't be more grateful. I'm so happy.
I know I speak for all of us fans when I say that we are so happy too. So what can we look forward to in season 2?
What can we look forward to? I think we can just look forward to the breath of fresh air every single week that we're going to get with The Mandalorian. I'm so excited for I just can't. I'm going to be like, basically every Friday, I'm just going to be on my phone watching your reactions, because I think that's like what I find really fun is watching how much you love it and how much you're going to be so proud of the hard blood, sweat, and tears we put into this. I'm just so excited for you to have that every week. I think in 2020, this is exactly what we need to end the year.
I love that. Thank you for joining us on the virtual red carpet tonight, Gina.
Thank you so much. It's just been an honor. It's been an honor to be on this show, and I've loved every second of it. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, everybody, let's give it up for Gina Carano. Yeah. Also with us tonight on the virtual red carpet is the Mandalorian himself. Some know him as Din Djarin, but I know him better by his actual name. Please welcome Pedro Pascal. Hey, buddy.
Hi, everybody. Hello to all the mercs, all the rebels, all the fans from all over the universe. It's so great to be with all of you here tonight. Thank you for being here.
Oh, Pedro, thanks for joining us. You know, I have to ask, what does it mean to you to be the Mandalorian, right? To have started this journey when we had no idea what it was going to be coming in, and to be here now, ready to launch season 2.
It is such an incredible experience to be a part of this show and to play Mando, the Mandalorian, and be the world's greatest babysitter. It's something that I've always aspired to experience and to be, and it's just been an incredible opportunity to be able to visit all the old and all the new of Star Wars, and look as cool as I do while doing it.
Yeah, it's been an absolute wonderful thing to experience. What has it been like to work on it, especially with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the real parents of the show. The amount of love that they have for it and for its fans is unlike anything that I've ever seen. And I think that for me to be a part of something that is so held by that makes it really easy, because I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be great, because it's filtered through so much care, as well as talent and knowledge of Star Wars. But more than anything, it's really the love that they have for it, and the love they have for the characters, and for the people that are watching, and what their expectations are, and the opportunity to surprise them, and the opportunity that it creates for me and for the cast and for the crew is a pretty special one, because we just know that the end result is going to be so satisfying.
Yeah, well, it's been an absolute wondrous thing to see. Thank you for joining us today, Pedro. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans before you have to take off?
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy season 2. I hope you love it as much as we do. And all the best. Stay safe. This is the way. This is the way.
So wonderful to hear from Pedro. I mean, it's amazing the amount of energy and love that everybody involved with this show has for the series.
I mean, they take it all so seriously, and they're so excited and wanting to be a part of the community as well, which I think it makes the whole experience of watching this show just like so much richer when you know that people are having fun making it and that they enjoy it just as much as you do. It's really special.
Absolutely. Obi-Wan and Anakin, Han and Chewie, 3PO and R2. Star Wars has had a long history of dynamic duos, and now there are 2 more names to add, without whom none of this would be happening right now.
Please welcome Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Hello. Welcome, fellas. Hi, John.
Hi.
How you doing?
What an intro. What a comparison. I never thought of it that way.
If you had to think of it that way, which one is 3PO and which one is R2?
That's a debate for a different time.
I love that you've got the child up in front and center with you, man.
Yeah, he's enjoying this. Yeah.
He just got that. He just unboxed that one.
I love it.
Off. I did. My dog is perplexed by it, but that's kind of a good thing.
Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. We have some fan questions for you. This first one comes from Philip Rivera, and he wants to know, besides the Mando's rifle being a callback to the holiday special, what other creative influences did you take from previous classic Star Wars stories?
Well, for the premiere, we got quite a few that I don't want to spoil, but for last season, we definitely had our Camtono was the Wilro Hood's ice cream maker. We had R5 snuck in there. Mark Hamill was a droid voice for us. That was a big treat. And then there's just lots of texture from, we're trying to pull in references, not just from the stuff that we grew up with, but across the whole expanse of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's such a, like you're saying, it's got so much texture, and it's such a multi-generational thing now, and it's wonderful to see you all bringing in all that stuff from all over the galaxy.
Yeah, I think people really want to come together. Right now, we're all separated, and I think I'm so grateful for here is that even though we're doing it virtually, and even though we're doing it alone, we're doing it together. And Star Wars fans have always been, we missed having Celebration this year, and what's great about that is you see fans of all ages and from all places, and we're getting hopefully a little bit of taste of that with these next several weeks with this show, and so that's something I've really grown to appreciate. And as Gina said, to hear the feedback, it's just a great conversation that goes on.
Yeah, our fan Jerry Bogart has another question that kind of builds off of that, and I mean you can see all of these amazing Mando fans around you. But he asks if there's been any influence from the fan clubs that's found its way into this series, or your view of what Mandalorians are.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is that as fans, you tend to vibe a lot of the same things. And I don't know about direct influences, but I think the lucky thing is that when you line up Star Wars fans, we all generally like very similar things. And that's what, as John was saying, makes Celebration kind of a special thing, is you get there and you have all these things in common, and we have a lot of similar likes. So it's kind of a big circle. We had the fans on screen in season 1 in the 501st when we needed stormtroopers. So that was really cool. And that's kind of a crossover that's never happened before. And, John and I are fans. And so, it's not like an either or in a lot of ways. It's we grew up with Star Wars just like everybody else did, and now we have this opportunity and responsibility to tell these stories and hope that our fandom and the things we like connect with people. And I'd say so far so good, I guess. Yeah.
Dustin Schneider wants to know what are some of your favorite props that you used on the show?
Every one of them. It's like it honestly is like a candy store. And what's great is we tend to hire people who also appreciate what we're getting to do. And so depending on who the actor is or who the director is, you have to build in a certain amount of time for them to just wrap their head around walking on the set or touching these costumes. And remember, in the tradition of George Lucas, we don't, you reuse things and you repurpose things, right? Everything is kind of kit bashed from either other props or from other uses within the Star Wars world. And everything you want to keep and everything you want to, put in your backyard. For us, the novelty has not worn off. And now we have stuff coming over from London, and we have access to all the stuff. Another good one that maybe Dave got to experience more than I did when he was an X-Wing pilot is we got to actually have the cockpit. We had the whole X-Wing that was on its way to Galaxy's Edge down in Florida, and we needed to film it in season 1, and we got them to divert the path of it, and actually the one that Dave was filming in, was the one that's actually at Galaxy's Edge down there at Disney World.
That's amazing. What was it like after working with these ships for all these years, Dave, to actually sit behind the cockpit of one?
that whole experience was pretty amazing and intimidating. It was a good experience at the end of the day, and I'm glad Rick and Deb did it with me. I wouldn't have done it otherwise, but it was a great thing for me, just experience the perspective, I think, of what it's like to be in front of the camera in a Star Wars situation. And it really helped inform the way that I interact, I think, with the actors in the future. Not that I had really anything to do as, my X-Wing pilot, but it was pretty great. And I would say, and John will agree, like a lot of our experience making this stuff, whether it's just shooting X-Wing cockpit or being a pilot or whatever it is, and it's a challenge. And I think, we get it done and we did it well, I think. But then I look back at everything that George and his teams over the years did, and they were inventing this. Like, we have something that we can look at to shoot for, and they were just coming up with this stuff no one ever done an X-Wing before in A New Hope. And it's mind-blowing how effective the techniques that they used are still to this day. And we still research that stuff relentlessly because we want the feeling to be right when you're in this galaxy. We want it to be that familiar galaxy. So it's just always you're in awe of what they accomplished. And then, we try to add our own twists and technology as we move forward for future generations of fans. So again, it's kind of progressing.
Yeah. I mean, the technology making this show, the set itself is just such a huge advancement in how we're, making new films and shows. Our Mitchell Bolt wants to know, what has been your favorite part about being on that set and around the props and to physically be in the universe of Star Wars?
It's cool how everybody adds a little bit to it. And because Star Wars has been around for so long that if you really are a student of it, there's this group mind. We're sort of crowdsourcing it in a way, because it's not just what Dave and I do and what the actors bring to it and the directors, but it's also every member of the crew and people who come and play with us too. Because we'll have directors come through that are doing other things, and they want to just stop in and leave their mark on the universe, on the Star Wars universe. And artists, like I was, you'll see in the beginning of the season 1 first episode, there's graffiti all over the walls. That's because the artist David Cho is a fan and was like, I had run into him. He's like, why don't you have graffiti? Why doesn't Star Wars have graffiti? I'm like, well, it does in the Clone Wars, but he hadn't, or in Rebels, but he hadn't seen it in the prominently in the film. And I was like, it could, but what would it look like? And so he came in and they did all whatever the graffiti of Star Wars would be. And so it added another layer and another dimension. And especially when you're telling so many stories and so many worlds, when you're doing a show like this, you go through a lot of different looks and a lot of different environments. So it's good to have fresh perspective and each thing to have its own personality. And so it's always fun to add another layer of texture, and then of course get the feedback and see if the people who have been invested, if the fans agree with what your interpretation is. And that dialogue has been part of the fun of it, because we know if we like it, chances are everybody's going to dig it, and it's really fun. It's almost like it's like having presents that you could lay out, and you watch people open it and you see if they like what you picked or not. And so that's really, I've never had that experience before. A little bit like at a premiere of a film or something like that, or reading feedback. But this dialogue back and forth every week is just something that's really exciting, and I've never experienced anything like it, and we're really having a blast.
Yeah.
Now, we obviously have the child front and center here right in front of you, Dave, and all around us. Trish O'Connor had a really great question about the child. She wanted to know, how hard was it to not talk about the child in promos last season?
That was hard. I love watching this medium. It's chaptered, and so it's like a good book where each week, you're getting to read another chapter of it. I think that the interplay between unfolding story points and twists and turns are important. And it comes from, George drew from the cliffhanger. That's what he grew up with. And so a cliffhanger doesn't always have to be an action cliffhanger. It could be a character cliffhanger, an emotional cliffhanger. And that's what creates that compelling relationship that I, as an audience member, appreciate the most. But that relies on secrecy. And secrecy is very hard to come by in Star Wars because the fans are very engaged and they're curious. And because of the internet and social media, you know, everybody's talking to one another. And so there's this interesting relationship where you really want to know what you're getting for Christmas, but you don't really want to know. And so how do you keep that exciting, and how do you keep each week something that you want to make sure you're seeing it at the same time everybody else does, so that it's not getting spoiled for you? And I think that all of that was made better by having everybody who knew, and a lot of people did know, and nobody said anything about it. And so we're very grateful for that. But when it all came together and the episode premiered and nobody had known, because we were biting our nails for a year on that one, and sure enough, it came out and it got a reaction more than we could have ever hoped for.
Well, thank you so much, John and Dave. I've got one last question for you. Will you stick around with us?
Of course. Absolutely.
Sure.
Excellent. Joining us now on the virtual red carpet is Moff Gideon himself, Mr. Giancarlo Esposito.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to be here, Andy. I'm especially happy to be here with Jon Favreau and David Filoni, who are the creators of this wonderful, wonderful show. I want to say I have never met fans like Mandalorian Star Wars fans. First live action show that Disney and Lucasfilms are putting out into the world, and I'm happy to be here with you.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're happy to have you here with us. You know, Giancarlo, you have brought life to some very iconic roles. What is it like to join the ranks of iconic Star Wars villains?
It is so stressful because I feel like the fans of Star Wars are so intelligent, so smart, know the history of every single movie, and know the through line of the story. And I'm really grateful to be in a place where I'm in gratitude to be able to learn from the fans. How does it feel? It feels like I'm in heaven.
In heaven. I love it. I love it. So Mandalorian fans, like you're saying, are so passionate about this show. And it sounds like you are just as passionate about the fans.
This show is about empowerment. This show is about fantasy. This show is about dreaming. And I am happy to be one who dreams big, and I encourage you to do the same. So I thank you so much for having me.
Oh, that's great. I love Giancarlo Esposito so much.
Oh my gosh, he is amazing. He is somehow frighteningly villainous and incredibly motivational at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially on the big screen. Plus, sunglasses indoors, which, like, talk about iconic to be able to pull that off.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of iconic, we've got another surprise for you.
Last season, he had a slick mustache. This season, he has a well-kept goatee. You know him, you love him, Grief Karga himself, Mr. Carl Weathers.
Hello, everyone. God, I wish we could all be together, but here we are, speaking virtually. But I'm so glad that so many of you have enjoyed the show in the first season, and we really think you're going to enjoy the second season just as much, if not more. So stay tuned, tune in, get every episode, make sure that you enjoy the Disney Plus ride, and keep reminding yourself that, you know, a great group of actors, and of course, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni as our executive producers put this all together. So when we see each other in the future in person, give me a thumbs up, will you? Say hi. Love to you all.
I could literally listen to Carl Weathers all day.
Same. He's amazing. Now, John and Dave, we've been having fun talking to the fans and stars of the show, but before we wrap up, we heard you have something special for everyone watching.
Yes, we do. We're one of the best parts of the show and best parts of Star Wars is music. And we're very lucky to have a talented group of musicians led by Ludwig Göransson, who heroically, by the way, was able to record all the score for season 2 during the lockdown. And so finding innovative ways to record the music while being socially distanced and often remote. But because of new safety protocols now that we have, and thanks to the cooperation of Disney and us getting ready actually to start filming again, through testing and social distancing, we found a safe way to get the musicians back together and do a performance for you. Dave, you want to?
Well, here for you now is Ludwig Göransson and the Mandalorian Premier Orchestra playing the theme song of The Mandalorian.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. Special thanks to Ludwig Göransson and the Mandalorian Premier Orchestra. Wow.
That was amazing. Thanks to Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and the cast. I want to thank everyone for watching our Mandalorian Season 2 virtual red carpet presented by Verizon.
There's only one thing left to do. Let's go watch Season 2. This is the way.